Hi, Sonia here, and I'm in my lab, and I am making my my night cream, my anti-aging night cream. It's actually called Nourish. So if you end up going to my website and look for this, it's called Nourish, a smoothing night cream. There's also a day cream version, but the night cream has lemon essential oil. Okay, this lighting looks strange. Anyway, so I wanted to just kind of do a little bit of my preparation here. Couple steps. So I've already prepared. The butters are melted and they're still in the double boiler, and that's mango butter, coconut oil, and cocoa butter. So if you've tried the Nourishing Night Cream, you know that it just kind of like melts into your skin, and you only need a very little bit of it, but it's awesome, and it smells really good because of the cocoa butter. So I have rosehip seed oil, which is like 18 or 20% it's 18%. If you know anything about rosehip seed oil, definitely there's a lot of research out there, and it's documented to have anti-aging benefits, but you want to have about 15 to 20% of the product being rosehip seed oil. There's also some avocado oil in there, which is known to help with the dark spots, and just nourishing the skin in general. There's some olive squalane, some homemade carrot oil. What else is in that? Let me just double check here. That was it. Some vitamin E. Seems like there should be a lot more. But in this recipe, because it's a cream and I don't use emulsifiers, I have cocoa butter and mango butter and coconut oil, and that's a big bulk of the product, so there's only a little bit of oils. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull out this bowl with ice in it in the freezer. I'll be right back. Okay. Here is my bowl with ice. I'm going to set that right here. Actually, I might set it right here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I have already melted down the butters into this in the double boiler, and I have this pot holder underneath it because it is wet and I don't want to get the waters mixed in with the oils. And so this is the mango butter, the cocoa butter, and coconut oil. And I'm just blending that up while it's warm. And then I'm going to set it here for a minute because I kind of want it to cool off a little bit. And I'm probably going to move it right into this. Hey, Erica, nice to see you. Thanks for joining. So I'm going to move this into my glass bowl here that has ice cubes in it. So I want that to cool off just a little so that when I add my oils, right? So I have my plant oils here in this beaker, and I want them to be kind of similar in temperature. The deal is that plant oils, when you're actually using straight botanical plant oils, they are temperature sensitive, right? And so I don't want some of these oils to get too hot, because then their active compounds start to break down. So I got that cooling off just a tad. It smells wonderful. So then I am going to start to pour this in here. And I'm just going to mix it on in so that the oils combine with the butters that are melted. And because it's on ice, what it's going to do is slowly start to thicken. And what I also do, there's different ways you can do this. It's called a warm blend method when you're making skincare or when you're making any sort of body or natural products. And so I'm going to blend that in there, and then as it cools off, it'll start to get thicker, right? And then after it's cool enough, I will add the essential oils, which I have already measured out. They're over there. I'll show you in a second. And so I want those to be even exposed to less warm temperatures than the plant oils, right? Because they're very aromatic. So when that gets cool enough, what I'll do is I will add these essential oils. And this is a lot of expensive essential oils. There's frankincense as my base note in here, but then I also use some carrot seed, which is hard to work with because it's really potent, but it's excellent for anti-aging. I have helichrysum, otherwise known as everlasting, which is also notorious as an anti-aging essential oil and has a lot of other benefits as well. Some rose geranium, and there's actually rose otto. Rose otto is $1,200 an ounce when you buy it organic. It has neroli. Neroli is, I want to say $300 is what I pay for an ounce, or maybe it's $200. Helichrysum is right about that same price range. And then I also have some lemon essential oil, which is known as a wrinkle buster. So this is the night cream because citrus essential oils are photosensitive. So you don't really want to apply them within 8 hours to 24 hours of being exposed to sun, and a certain part of the population will get irritated. So I sell this as a night cream, but it does have lemon essential oil. That smells really good. Okay, so I should be actually still mixing this instead of hanging out with you because I want to keep this as it cools. I want to keep mixing this because I don't want things to separate out, right? Because the butters, of course, are going to solidify faster than the oils. And so this is on ice. I don't know if you can see that. So you may not be able to see that, so that's all right. As long as I can talk to you. So I'm going to do this, and this will take a while, actually. Usually I have some personal development or something going on in the background because it's time consuming. And so once this is cool enough, I will add the essential oils, and then I'll continue to mix it until it gets thick enough. And then what I'll do is, after a point when I know that it's blended nicely and it's starting to really solidify, I will stick it in the freezer for just a little bit, not too long, because then once it really hardens, I will use a egg beater or mixer, and I will mix it up so it gets nice and fluffy and whipped. And then I put it into these little heart-shaped molds or into these little jars for my larger size. After it's been whipped and everything. And so then it's got this consistency that just melts right into your skin, and I love that effect. Now, if this gets above a certain temperature, like 70, somewhere in the 70s, it'll melt. And then it'll harden again, so you can still use it, but it doesn't seem to have that same melting as though I had already whipped it. And so just a nice little touch, I think, for this particular product. And you just use a very, very teeny bit. And it is incredibly anti-aging and smoothing. It's very good and nourishing for your skin. If this is something that you're interested in, you can find this at www.justbotanicalsak.com. So, okay, I'm going to put my essential oils in here. That's justbotanicalsak.com. Oh, such a lovely smell. Rose otto is one of those things, and that's actually pure, an actual essential oil made from rose petals, but it takes like a zillion, like 2,000 rose petals or 2,000 tons of rose petals or something crazy, probably not tons, but 2,000 rose petals to make one drop of this stuff, which is why it's so expensive, but it's amazing for the skin. You can also buy a rose absolute, which is also a bit spendy, but it is solvent extracted, and so I use it in some of my body stuff, but not so much on the face, because when I'm working on the face, I'm using a small amount of essential oils, right? You don't need a lot. It's a sensitive area. And I'm trying to go for the full-on effect. And if I'm going to market this as anti-aging, then it needs to have those benefits. And so, now Rose Otto, though, is so powerful. I don't use it at more than 0.05% of my total formulation, which means that was, I think, 8 drops total, about 8 drops of Rose Otto in this 800 gram recipe. And so, which is all you should need. And that is based on Robert Tisserand's book on essential oil safety, which is the book. In the United Kingdom, the number is actually 0.02% for standardized when you're selling and marketing it, but Robert Tisserand says 0.05, so I want the higher number. Of course, we don't have those regulations here in the United States, and so it allows for, unfortunately, a lot of the stuff that's out there on the market where the safety really isn't taken into consideration. And so when I developed my formulations, I actually calculated the percentage of each of these things to figure out which allergen sensitizers are actually in there, and to make sure that these products weren't going above anything that would be unsafe according to what was produced out of the United Kingdom. So now I may do a little video later, I don't know if it'll be live, it might be live, where I actually take this and whip it up. And the reason I want to do that is because it's going to be funny. Because I end up getting stuff everywhere. What I need is one of those little, like, you know, where you weld, one of those little welding hoods, so that I can actually blend this and whip it up, because it gets everywhere. It's hard sometimes to keep it from doing that. And so part of the problem too is I might leave it in the freezer too long, and then it's extra hard to whip up, like nearly impossible. And then I have stuff that has more chunks of the material in there as opposed to like a fully whipped up product. So I'm going to go ahead and come off live now. I don't know, I saw somebody on there, but it looks like I maybe lost a little bit of the where it tells me who's on or who's not. But you should be able to come back and watch this later. So, all right, y'all have a good day. I'm going to finish this up and be watching, because I'll be going here a little bit live to whip this up. All right, bye.